Hello and welcome to your practice. This practice is for hips and core. And one thing you'll need is a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, it's okay. You can pretend like you're holding a yoga block, but it's nice to have that just for that reference. Hips and core. We're going to be strengthening the back as well. So we're going to get started down on our backs on your mat. And let's just start with knees bent. So with the knees bent, arms at your side, palms up, we're going to just loosen up a little. So let's just rock the hips and the knees a little side to side. So just feel that in the hips, in the knees, in the leg muscles. Feel that on the low back. So just kind of letting everything start to warm up a little bit. Let's bring our knees to center, and we're going to stretch our right foot up to the ceiling. And let's warm up the ankle. So let's circle our right ankle in one direction. Nice and slow. So warming up the foot and the ankle. Let's go in the opposite direction. Important to keep your feet and ankles mobile. Let's point and flex so we get a nice stretch on the back of the leg. Also a nice stretch on our arch. Good. Let's keep the right foot flexed. Exhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Adjust the head and the shoulders, and then we'll stretch the left leg out on the mat. So we're lengthening the left leg from the hip all the way down through the heel. Both feet are flexed. If you want to work your core a little bit, keep the waistline pressing down towards the mat and lift your left leg off the mat about an inch or two. So nice big breaths into the low belly. Keep that waistline pressing towards the mat, belly button pulling down. And then we'll rebend our left leg, bring our left foot to the floor, bring our right foot to the floor. And with both feet on the mat, let's rock the hips side to side, little rocking motion. Bring the knees to center. Inhale. With your exhale, let's bring the left knee into the chest. And then we'll stretch our left foot up to the ceiling. We're going to circle the left ankle in one direction. Warming up this left foot, left ankle. Circle in the opposite direction. And now we'll point and flex our left foot. Feel that good stretch on the back of the leg and also on the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia tendon on the bottom of the foot. Keep our left foot flexed. Exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Adjust your head and shoulders, relax that upper body, and then we're going to stretch the right leg out on the mat. Both feet are flexed. Push through that right heel. If you want to work your core, keep your waistline pressing down and lift the right leg just an inch or two above the mat. Big breaths into the low belly. Good. We'll come out of it. Rebend your right knee, bring your right foot to the floor, bring your left foot to the floor. Both feet on the mat. Let's rock the hips side to side. Good. Bring the knees to center. Inhale. With your exhale, both knees come into the chest. Hug the knees, and we're going to roll side to side. So rolling the whole back body side to side. Shoulders, upper body, mid, back, and lower back. Let's bring our knees to center. Stretch both feet up to the ceiling. Feet hip width apart, feet flexed. Spread the toes, clench the toes. Spread the toes, clench the toes. So we work our feet just a little bit more. Then relax the toes. Let's take a yoga walk. One knee bends, opposite foot stretches up to the ceiling. So take it nice and slow. Get a good extension on the back of the leg before you switch to the other side. We're pushing up through the heel. So good stretch for the legs. The back of the legs getting a good stretch. Front of the legs, your thighs are getting strengthened. All kinds of good stuff going on for the legs. Let's bring the knees back into the chest. Use your abdominals. Don't let your waistline lift. We're going to bring feet down to the mat. They can come down one at a time because you're trying to control that waistline and that back. Good. So we're going to go into half happy baby pose. Let's bring our right knee into the chest. We're going to open the right knee out to the right. And then we're going to take the right hand and hold either the outer right calf, right ankle, or the outside edge of the right foot. You want to stack your right ankle over your right knee. So the bottom of your right foot facing the sky, and then your right knee moving down towards the mat. So it's a big inner thigh and hip stretch. And we're just going to take a couple breaths here. Half happy baby. Working on this right side, right hip, right leg. Good. We're going to come out of that. So let go of that foot or ankle and bring your right foot down. Just take a moment. You can probably feel the difference of the right leg, left leg, and then half happy baby on the left. So bring your left knee in, and we're going to bring that left knee out to the left, and then take the left hand and hold the outer left calf, left ankle, or outside edge of the left foot. The bottom of the left foot faces the sky. Left ankle stacks over left knee, and left knee moving down towards the mat. Right arm at your side, palm is up as we take a few deep breaths here into this left thigh, left hip. Good. And then we'll come out of that. So we'll let go of the left foot or ankle and bring that left foot down to the mat. One at a time, stretch the legs out. So now let the front of the hips open, back of the knees open. Let that energy move back down the legs, blood flow move down from the hips, down the legs, all the way down to the feet. Let's take a full body stretch. Stretch both arms up overhead. Palms face the sky. Spread your fingers, flex your feet. Stretch one side longer, the other side longer. So don't go too fast. Really get and feel that stretch on each side before you switch to the other side. Good. Let's bring arms and legs to center. Arms come down by your side. Let's rebend our knees. Bring our feet to the floor. Kind of adjust your hips, shoulders, clothing from that stretching. And then we're going to go into a figure four pose. So we're going to bring right ankle to left thigh. Right foot is flexed. And gently, we're going to move that right thigh away from us. So you can use your right hand to gently push the right thigh away, or you can just let that right knee and leg move away with its own resistance to the left leg. So see what, woo, a bird just hit the window. All right, so we're going to feel that stretch in the front or the side of the right hip and breathe. Let's keep the right ankle where it is, and we're going to, with the inhale, with your exhale, bring both knees into the chest. You can hold each leg with each hand or wrap the hands around the back of the left thigh and push the right thigh away with your right elbow. So now we're feeling that stretch in the outer right hip and thigh. Both feet are flexed, and we're just taking a few breaths here. Make sure your chin doesn't pop up towards the sky. We want to kind of tuck that chin, keep length in the back of the neck. We'll come out of this. Let's bring our left foot down first, and then our right foot down. Good. Just roll the hips a little side to side. Knees to center, we're going to take that figure four on the other side. So left ankle to right thigh, left foot is flexed. We're going to gently move the left thigh away. So we're trying to feel a stretch on the front or side of this left hip. And just a couple breaths here. And then keep that left ankle where it is. Inhale. With your exhale, we're going to bring both knees into the chest. We're going to wrap the hands around the back of the right thigh, and you can use your left elbow to press that left thigh away, or just hold each leg with each hand, and the left hand would gently press the left thigh away. So whatever feels better for you. Both feet are flexed. We feel this stretch now more in this outer left hip thigh area. Loosening these hips up. This is great to do too if you work or you sit a lot. You can just take one ankle on top of the other thigh. You can do it at work if you want, or at home. Okay, we're going to come out of this. So we're going to bring the right foot down first, and then the left foot down, Good. One at a time, stretch the legs out. Just let that blood flow and energy move back down the legs. Let your legs relax completely. Arms at your side, palms up. Maybe even tuck the shoulders under a little bit just to expand the chest. A few belly breaths here. Let everything relax for a moment. Good. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, rebend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. We're going to go into bridge pose. Before we go into bridge pose, we're just going to do a little pelvic tilt to kind of warm up the low back and the hips. So knees are stacked over the heels, feet hip width apart, arms at your side, palms are up. Inhale, press your tailbone down into the mat, waistline lifts. Exhale, waistline presses down, your tailbone will curl up just a little bit. So we're not lifting the hips, we're just kind of rocking the hips and pelvis back and forth. Good. Inhale, waistline lifts. Exhale, waistline presses down. We can pull that belly button down towards the mat. So that's the movement. We're just going with our breath nice and slow, loosening up the hips and the back, all that connective tissue, the fascia, tendons, ligaments in the low back. This is great remedy for low back pain. So you can always do this, really safe for low back. Good. Now we're going to take this right into bridge. So the next time your waistline presses down into mat, leave it pressing down. Lead with your hips and peel the spine up. Try to go one vertebra at a time up off the mat, any height. Maybe walk your shoulder blades in just a little bit and press the shoulders down into the mat. Palms are up. Belly soft, bottom slightly firm, knees parallel. Feel the weight on both feet. Feel it even on right foot, left foot, but heel and ball of the foot, and all your toes touching the mat. And we're going to take belly breaths here. So soft belly, inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. Keep those shoulder blades pressing down. Good. We're going to come out with breath. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, move the shoulder blades apart and lower down one vertebra at a time. Don't let your bottom touch down before your waist touches down. Keep lengthening the spine all the way down. Once your hips are down, hug the knees into the chest. And we're going to roll side to side. Roll it out. Good. Bring the knees to center. Use your abdominals. Don't let the back arch. We're going to bring our feet down to the floor. And then one at a time, we're going to stretch the legs out. Just a couple breaths. Let the legs, hips, back relax. Good. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. We're going to bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor, roll over onto your side, either side. Doesn't matter. Come up to hands and knees, all the way up to hands and knees. Grab a little padding for your knees if you want a little bit of extra cushioning. And we're going to go into table pose. From table pose, we'll go into our cat-cow breath. So wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, fingers are spread nice and wide, index fingers parallel with each other. We're going to exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, pull your belly button up snug. Inhale, tilt the hips, let your belly stretch. Exhale, round, shoulder blades move apart, your chest lifts away from the floor. Good. Inhale, arch, shoulder blades squeeze together, chest lowers a little bit. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arching. Keep your neck nice and long. So we don't want to over work the neck, especially when you arch. Think of length in the neck, not lifting the chin and looking forward. That puts a lot of compression on the cervical vertebra. So think of length in the neck. The ears move away from the shoulders. Good. Now let's come to neutral. Shift back into child's pose. Just a couple breaths. Big toes barely touching, knees separate apart. And then bring your forehead down to rest. On stacked hands on the yoga mat or on a yoga block if you like a little bit more space in the chest. Wobble the hips and shoulders a little side to side. So just kind of swaying gently a little side to side. Good. Bringing everything to center. Come back up to hands and knees. We're going to lower all the way down onto our belly. So come down onto your belly. And to start, we're going to stack our hands on top of each other. And then just rest your forehead on your stacked hands. We're going to go into half bow and a half bow variation. So to kind of warm up for our half bow, let's bend our right knee. So just bend the right knee and we can feel that stretch in the right thigh. We can feel the hamstring working a little bit. Let's take our right hand and just reach back and see if you can find your right toes, ankle, pant leg. And if you can't, it's okay. You just keep the right knee bent and the right hand reaching back. So we're working our right shoulder, right upper back, and we're working that right leg. So just a couple breaths here. You can rest your forehead on your stacked hand, on your left hand, or you can lift your forehead a little. Just don't overcrease the back of the neck. And then we're going to let go of that right leg, bring the right foot down, and bring the right hand forward. And we're going to switch. So your left knee is going to bend. So we're feeling that stretch in the left thigh, left hamstring. And then we'll reach back with the left hand. So if you can't reach, you just keep the knee bent and the left hand reaching back. But maybe you can find toes, ankle, pant leg. And we're breathing here, getting a good stretch on that left thigh. Couple breaths. And then we'll bring that left foot down, bring the left hand forward. Good. Now curl both toes under on the mat. Push the heels away from you. Let your knees lift up off the mat. Good stretch for the legs, the hips, and the arches. And then relax the legs and the feet. So we're going to do half bow on each side again with a little variation. So bend your right knee, and we're going to stretch the left hand forward. Left palm is on the floor. Curl your left toes under and kind of push that left heel away from you. And then we're going to reach back with the right hand and see if you can find the right toes. Now, if you can't, that's okay. You just keep reaching back. And then we're going to lift that left hand. So reaching forward, your head will be off the mat a little bit. Neck is long, reaching that left hand forward. So we're getting a great stretch on that left side, and we're working that right thigh and hip flexors. And then bring your left hand down, bring your right foot down, and we'll stretch the right hand forward. We're going to bring that left hand under our face. Your right toes curled under, right heel pushing away from you. Bend your left knee, and we're going to reach back with the left hand. See if we can find the left foot, ankle. Good. And then as that right heel pushes away from you, we're going to lift that right hand off the mat. So a big stretch on that right side, but also working the left side. Breathe here. Good. Exhale. Bring that right hand down. Bring the left foot down. And then bend both elbows. Stack your hands on top of each other. Rest your forehead on stacked hands. Both toes curl under. Push the heels away from you. So get that good stretch in the hips and the legs, the calves, the arches. Good. And then relax the legs, relax the feet. Slide your hands under your shoulders. Lift yourself up into hands and knees table. Once you're in table pose, let's take 3 cat breaths. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. We're going to do one more. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arch. Shift back into child's pose. We're going to prepare for a downward dog. So just take a couple breaths in child's pose. Sway or wobble, hips or shoulders side to side. Keeping hips mobile, hips loose, and shoulders and upper back loose. Bring everything to center. Stretch both hands forward as far as they'll go. Elbows are up off of the mat. We're going to prepare for our downward dog. Come up into hands and knees. Let's walk the knees just a little closer together. They were probably wide for child's pose. Take a look at your hands. Your hands are at least as wide as your shoulders. If you've got tight shoulders, make the hands just a little wider apart. Fingers are spread, index fingers are parallel. Curl your toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back, downward dog. Tuck the chin. Your ears are right by your arms. Your toes are spread. Let's walk it out. One heel lowers, other heel lowers. So good stretch again in the backs of the legs. Your belly pulls in and up to support the spine, to support the upper body. So just kind of walking the dog. Walk it out. Bring your heels level with each other. We're going to go forward into a plank. So inhale, come forward, shoulders over your wrists. If your hips are high, then scoot those feet back a little bit. We want to tuck the tailbone a little bit and spread the shoulder blades apart. Good. Now drop down to knees, and we're going to shift back into child's pose. So big toes barely touching, knees separate apart a little bit, and then we're going to wobble hips and shoulders side to side a bit. Good. Our next pose is going to be downward dog with a knee to arm on each side. So it's going to work the core, work the hips. So from child's pose, let's stretch both hands forward as far as they'll go, elbows up off the mat. Come up into your hands and knees. Knees can come a little closer together. We want to check those hands, fingers spread. Curl your toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back. We're in downward dog. Good. Now we're going to lift that right foot off the floor, bend your right knee, and we're going to inhale, come forward into a plank, and your right knee is going towards your right arm, shoulders over wrists, and then shift back into downward dog. And then pick up your left foot, bend your left knee, shift forward, shoulders over wrists. We're bringing left knee towards left arm. Step back into a downward dog. 2 more times on each side. Right knee to right arm, back into downward dog. Left knee to left arm, back into downward dog. Right knee to right arm, shoulders over wrists, back into downward dog. And left knee to left arm, shoulders over wrists, back into downward dog. Now we'll drop down to knees and we'll shift back into child's pose. Good. A few wrist circles or wiggle your fingers, maybe sway, wobble a little side to side. Beautiful. Next, we're going to come up to hands and knees, and we're going to go into dolphin. So dolphin is like a downward dog, but it takes it out of the hands and wrists, puts it more into the shoulders. It's going to work our core a bit. So let's come up into hands and knees table, but we're going to drop down to our elbows. Wrap your fingers, all your fingers around the elbows, and that will help stack your shoulders right over your elbows. Plant the elbows there. Don't let them widen, and bring the hands forward. Interlace the fingers. Curl your toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back. Bring your head in between the arms. Your ears are right by the arms. Little bend in the knees. Lift your tailbone high. Tuck the chin. The top of your head is off the floor. It's not touching the floor. Keep pressing those forearms and elbows into the mat and lift your belly in and up. Good. Now we're going to come out of it. So come down to knees and then walk the elbows back into child's pose. A couple breaths there. Sway or wobble a little side to side. Good work. Come up to hands and knees. We're going to go into a modified side plank. So fingers spread wide, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to keep our right hand, right knee where they are. Stretch your left leg back. The arch side of your left foot will be on the mat, and your left foot is directly behind your right foot. Make sure your right shoulder is over your right wrist. We're going to bring the left hand to the left hip, and we're going to turn to the left. Good. So we want our chest and our belly turning to the left. Good. Keep your right rib cage lifting up away from the mat. Don't let the right ribs sink down towards the floor. Left hand can stretch straight up towards the ceiling. Good. If you want to try to balance, curl your right toes under, find a spot to focus on, and try to lift your left foot off the floor. Pull that core in. Breathe. Bring the left foot down, left hand down. Yep, real quick there. Come back into hands and knees table. And just take a little bit of free form movement. Wobble hips or shoulders side to side or round and arch. Good. So other side, fingers are spread. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to keep our left hand and our left knee exactly where they're at. Your right leg's going to stretch back, arch side of the right foot down on the mat, and your right foot is directly under your left. Make sure your left wrist is under your left shoulder, and bring right hand to right hip as you turn to the right. So we want our belly and our chest to turn to the right. Left rib cage lifts up away from the mat. You can keep your right hand on your right hip, or you can lift your right hand straight up to the ceiling. Breathe. Now, if you want to take it another notch, curl the left toes under, and then try to lift that right foot. Focus on a spot, balance, breathe. Good. We're going to come out of it, bring the right hand down, right knee down. We're back into hands and knees table. Let's take 3 cat breaths. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. One more. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arch. Shift back into child's pose. Just a couple breaths. Kind of get off the hands and the wrists. Maybe a few wrist circles, or wiggle the fingers. Wobble hips and shoulders a little side to side. And then make your way back up to hands and knees table. Grab, I think I told you needed 1 yoga block, but 2 is going to be good here because we're going to use it for a lunge. If you don't have yoga blocks, you're going to be high up on fingertips. So we're going to go into a lunge. We're going to have our hands on the blocks. The blocks are in the medium height. Bring your right foot forward between the blocks. We want a right knee stacked right over right heel. We want to pick up our left knee, scoot it as far back as it will go. So we're getting a good stretch on the front of this left hip and thigh. Good. Inhale. With your exhale, we're going to lean back, bow over the right knee. And we'll go with movement with breath. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, shifting back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Let's do one more. Inhale, forward. And exhale, back. Good. We're going to come forward with the right knee stacked over right heel. We're going to curl the left toes under and lift that left knee up. So we want to firmly press that left heel back behind us. This left leg long and strong. Right foot, let's press it firmly into the mat. So there's equal energy in both legs. Right foot pressing down firmly. Left heel pressing back firmly. Let's come out of that. So lower your left knee. And then we'll bring the right knee back by the left. We're going to swish the hips a little side to side. Bring the hips to center. Other side, left foot is going to come forward between the blocks or between your hands. We want left knee directly over left heel. Pick up the right knee, scoot it as far back as it will go to get a good stretch on that right side. Right hip, right thigh. Good. Let's go with breath forward and back. Inhale. With your exhale, lean back. Bow over the left knee. And inhale, come forward. Chin lifts. Exhale, shifting back, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, forward, lift the chin, long spine. Let's do one more of those. Exhale, shifting back. Inhale, coming forward. Now we're going to stay forward with left knee over left heel. Curl your right toes under, and we're going to push that right heel back behind us. So our right leg long and strong. Belly pulls in and up. Left foot presses down firmly. So equal energy in both legs. Left foot pushing down. Right heel pushing back. And then we'll come out of that. So let's lower that right knee down. Bring the left knee back. And we'll sway the hips a little side to side. So stretch out the outer hips and glutes a little bit. Good. Now we're going to take that lunge, and you can take it at any level. You can stay with the knee down. You can stay with the knee lifted, or we can come up into a high crescent lunge, which will be coming up and reaching our hands up. So we'll take it step by step. So let's come back, hands on our blocks. Right foot between the blocks, right knee over right heel. Left knee scoots as far back as it will go. Good. So you can stay here. This is a great hip stretch. Or curl the left toes under, lift the left knee up. You can stay here. If you want to work your way up into that high crescent lunge, let's bring both hands up to the right knee and lift yourself up. So shoulders are more over hips. We're more upright instead of leaning forward. Get your balance, focus on a spot, arms down by your side. The back heel, left heel is up. There's a little bend in that left knee, the back knee. We're going to inhale, arms up, palms face each other. Pull your belly in and up. Breathe. You could always have hands on hips here if you want. Good. Let's come out of it. Lower the hands down. Reach forward, grab your blocks, lower your left knee. We're going to bring the right knee back by the left. Swish your hips a little side to side. Bring the hips to center. Other side, left foot comes forward between the blocks. Left knee directly over left heel. Pick up that right knee, scoot it as far back as it will go. So Rick, staying here, if this is your version today. Curl the right toes under and lift the right knee. Stay here if this is your version today. Or if you want to make your way up into that high crescent lunge, pull your core in, bring both hands up to your left knee and start to lift yourself up. So we're not leaning forward, we're kind of upright. Hands can be on your hips or arms down by your side. Inhale if you like, both palms up, both palms face each other. Little bend in your right knee, your right heel's pushing back, belly's pulling in and up. You're focusing on a spot, you're breathing, you're balancing, you're beautiful. Let's come out of it. Lower the hands, lean forward, bring the hands down, bring the right knee down, bring the left knee back. Good work. Swish the hips a little side to side. Good. Bring the hips to center. Set the blocks off to the side. Shift back into child's pose. Just a couple breaths. Wobble it out a little bit. Hips and shoulders wobble a little side to side. Good. Bring hips to center. We're going to go into one more downward dog. From that downward dog, we're going to walk the hands back into a standing forward fold. If there's a way you like to get to standing forward fold, then you can meet us there. I'm going to take you through downward dog. So from child's pose, stretch the hands as far forward as they'll go. Elbows are up off the mat. Come up to your hands and knees. Check those fingers, spread nice and wide. Knees move a little closer together. Curl the toes under. Inhale, use your breath. With your exhale, lift up, shift back, downward dog. Put a little bend in your knees, look forward to your hands, and little by little start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Your heels will lower. Widen your feet a little wider than your hips. And if you had padding there, maybe you can scoot it off to the side. Bring hands up to above the knees. Lift your chest halfway up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Belly pulls in and up. Don't let it hang. Keep that bend in the knees. Keep that nice flat back. And we're going to hinge all the way up to standing. Perfect. Once you get up to standing, adjust the clothing. Shake it out a little bit. And we're going to take a few side swings. So let's separate our feet a little wider than the hips, and we'll take a few little side swings. So we want that opposite heel to lift, right? The hips turn, the shoulders are relaxed, the arms are floppy. They might even bend a little and kind of wrap around you. Belly pulls in and up. Just shake it out, even it out from being down on the mat to up to standing now. Let everything come to center. Good. Shake it out. We're going to take a half forward fold holding a block. So here's why I said if you don't have a block, you can have the hands together as if you're holding a block. So let's grab a block. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. So the feet are a little wider than your hips apart. And we're going to lift that block up overhead. We want to keep the block right by our ear, the arms right by our ears. So we don't want our arms to come forward. Arms stay right by our ears. We're going to bend our knees just a little bit. We've got a little arch in the back. Inhale with your exhale, hinge forward. It's a half forward fold. Keep the weight a little bit in the heels, little bend in the knees, and long spine, long ribs. Keep those arms up by your ears. Don't let the arms go down. Don't let the block go down. Good. And we're going to come out of it. So we're going to inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale the block down. Shake it out a little bit. You can set that block down. So we're going to work on triangle and a variation of triangle. So triangle, we are hinging from our hips. So we're going to practice that hinging from the hips before we go into the triangle with the block. So let's have our feet hip wider than our hips, 3 to 3.5 feet apart. The taller you are, the wider your feet should be apart. We're going to turn our right toes to the right, shift our left heel back a little towards that back corner, and we want to line up our right heel and our left arch, and we want to face this long edge of the mat. So let's take hands to hips, and we're going to keep this right leg straight, but we're going to lean to the right. So we're kind of tucking that right hip under, and the left hip rolls up towards the sky. We've got a nice stretch going on here on this inner right thigh. So we don't want to crunch this right rib cage. Inhale, come up. Now let's take our fingers to our rib cage. So your thumb is up on the high rib cage and your fingers are down by your hips. So we don't want to crunch this right side, right? We want to keep that length in our fingers. We're going to do that tipping to the side again. Inhale, with your exhale, lean to the right from the hip, not from the waist. And inhale, come back up. Good. Exhale, lean to the right. Get a good stretch here. And inhale, come up, and then drop your arms. Shake out your arms. Parallel the feet. Let's take the feet to the other direction. Left toes point directly to the left. Right heel shifts back towards that back corner a little bit. Line up left heel, right arch. Face the long edge of the mat. Let's start with hands on the hips. Keep this left rib cage long. Inhale. With your exhale, tilt to the left. We're tucking this left hip under. Right hip rolls up. Good stretch on that inner left thigh. We don't want to bend the ribs, right? So long ribs. Inhale, come back up. Let's use our fingers. So the thumbs up on that upper rib cage and fingers down on the hips. Keep length in both sides of the rib cage. Inhale, as you exhale, lean to the left, tilt. Inhale, come up. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, lean to the side, tilt, and inhale, come up. Drop the arms, parallel the feet, step the feet together, shake it out. So the problem with sometimes doing triangle pose is people want to get too low. They see the pictures where that person's hand is way down touching the floor. But what happens when they do that, they compromise, they kind of crunch the rib cage. So let me demonstrate. Here we are. The other thing, if your feet are not wide enough apart, it's impossible to get lower. So we'll be here in a traditional triangle pose. We lean to the left. So I've still got all that nice length. We lean to the right. I've still got all that nice length on my right rib cage. But then when we go into the pose, people will then want to bring this arm down low. So now I'm crunching. This whole right side is crunched. I don't have length. So in order to get length, which is what you want in this pose, we have to come up higher, right? We have to come up a little higher. So, and then we come out of it. So it's called triangle pose because they're triangles, right? So we've got triangles between the legs. We got a triangle from here down to here. And we've got a triangle here. So if you crunch that right rib cage or bend from your waist, you don't have the triangle anymore. So we're thinking about making those geometric shapes. So we're going to come out of that. That was just my little demo for you. So I want you to feel that length in the rib cage. And we're going to try it with a block. So grab one block. If you don't have a block, you're going to act like you're holding one overhead. Let's set up our feet. We're going to build our foundation from the ground up. So feet 3 to 3.5 feet apart. Right toes point directly to the right. Left heel shifts back. Line up right heel, left arch. Face that long edge of the mat. We're going to inhale and bring that block up overhead. Keep your arms right by your ears. Keep length in the right rib cage. Inhale, and as you exhale, hinge from your hip and lean just a little to the right. Just a little to the right, not too much. Keep lengthening, keep stretching that whole right rib cage. Keep tucking right hip under, left hip rolls a little higher. Let's come out of it. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, lower the block. I'm going to bend the right knee a little bit and parallel the feet. Let's take it to the other way. Left toes point directly to the left. Right heel shifts back towards that back corner. Line up left heel, right arch. Good. We're going to face the long edge of the mat. Let's inhale, bring that block up overhead. Keep length in both sides of the rib cage, but especially your left. Inhale, with your exhale, hinge from the hip and lean to the left, just a little bit. Good, breathing. So we feel that stretch on the inner left thigh. length on both sides of the rib cage. We're breathing, legs are strong. Good. We're going to inhale, come up, exhale, bring the block down, bend that left knee a little bit, and then step the feet together. Let's set the block aside. Take a few side swings. Separate the feet a little wider than the hips. We'll take a few side swings. Opposite heel lifts, hips turn, belly pulls in and up. Shoulders relaxed, arms relaxed. Good, good. Shake that out. We're going to go into a chair pose, modified chair. So we're not going to go as deep into it. We're going to keep the hips lifted just a little and just a tiny bend in the knees. So feet are hip width apart. We're going to bend our knees a little bit and stick our bottom back as if we're sitting on the ledge or something, not fully in a chair. So our bottom, our booty's just on a little ledge. Weights in the heels. We're going to keep length in the rib cage, arms at your side. Inhale and lift both arms up. Good. Relax the shoulders down. Keep the weight in the heels. Toes are light. You should be able to wiggle your toes a little bit. Little bend in the knees. Keep that booty kind of reaching back. So that gives us a little arch in the low back. We're not rounding the low back. We're not tucking the tailbone. And lengthen up all the way through all the fingers. Good. We're going to come out of it. So exhale, bring the arms down and straighten the legs and shake it out. Good, good. So we're going to do, the next pose we're going to do is one I found just recently, and I've really been liking it. It's called hummingbird. So it's kind of got that chair pose feel to it, but instead of the arms up, the arms are going to be back. Okay, so let me take you through it. Feet hip width apart. We're going to set up just like we did for chair. We're going to bend our knees just a little bit, and we're sitting on that ledge, just barely sitting on a ledge. So instead of the arms reaching up, we're going to bring the arms back, spread the fingers. This is like our wings, right? So the weight right now is in the heels. For hummingbird, it's a balance. So we're going to shift without leaning forward. We're going to shift our weight into the ball of the foot and lift your heels any amount. Good. Keep squeezing shoulder blades together. Keep pulling the belly in and up. Open, expand the chest. Balance, focus on a spot. Breathing. So this is working your whole body. Legs, core, back, arms, shoulders. Good. Keep breathing. And we're going to come out of it. So lower the heels, bring the arms down, and shake it out. Let's take a few side swings after that. Separate your feet a little wider than the hips, and just sway a little side to side. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. Slow that down. We're going to come down to the mat, come down to sitting with the knees bent, feet in front of you. Hands are on the knees. We're going to do a few seated cat breaths. Inhale, sit tall, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart. Exhale, lean back. Arms go straight, round the spine, tuck the chin, pull your belly in snug. Inhale, sitting tall, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your heart. Exhale, round back. Use your core to work the belly. Inhale, tall. See how tall you can sit. Lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, rounding back. Stretch that whole back body out. So this seated cat pose is great if you've got wrist or knee issues. You can still work hips, shoulders, back, core with this seated cat pose. Next time you're sitting tall, stay tall. The last pose before final relaxation is going to be boat pose. So we'll take a couple variations of boat pose. So we're sitting tall, kind of rock a little side to side. You feel the sitting bones, those little bony protrusions that you're sitting on. So we're sitting kind of straight up right on top of them. For boat pose, we kind of lean on that back side of the sitting bones. So let's start with the hands on the outer thighs. Good. We want the heart lifted. So shoulder blades squeeze back a little bit, and we lift the heart, and we're going to lean back just a little bit. So this is a variation of boat pose right here with feet on the floor. You're already using your core. We got a little arch of the low back. So you never want to round the back in boat pose. We're lifting the heart. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together, and think of your belly kind of coming towards your thighs. So staying here, or if you want to go a little further, lift one foot and then lift the other foot. Good. Breathing. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart. Belly moving towards the thighs. Don't round the low back. Good. Breathe. We're going to come out of it. Lower the feet down. Bring the hands down to the mat. One at a time, stretch the legs out. Windshield wiper the feet. Just let those legs relax a little bit. Good. We'll take boat pose one more time. So your choice, you can keep the feet on the floor. You can lift the feet off the floor. Or the next version we'll do, we're going to stretch the hands forward, palms are up. So each version, you have to make sure that you don't start to round the back. That'll be like a sinking boat, right? We want to have a nice arch in the low back and a lifting of the heart. So we'll start with our knees bent. Bring the hands to the outer thighs. All ready. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart, and we're going to lean back a little. So you can stay right here. This is great ab work. Or you can lift your feet. If you lift the feet, don't round the back. Don't sink the boat. Breathing, keep squeezing shoulder blades together, lift your heart. And if you want to try lifting, letting go of one leg and the other leg, palms are up, but squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing, don't round that low back, belly towards the thighs, and we're going to come out of it. Bring the feet down, bring the hands down, stretch the legs out. Woo! And windshield wiper the feet. Good work. You did good work today or tonight, whenever you're doing this. Let's come all the way down onto our back. Down on your back, hug the knees into the chest and roll side to side. So we're just ironing out that whole back body. Good. Upper back, mid back, low back. Bring the knees to center. Use your core. Don't let your waistline lift. We're going to bring our feet down to the mat. They can come down one at a time. Once your feet are down, we're going to set up for final relaxation. So decide if you want your legs stretched out, if you want your knees bent. Maybe you want to prop your feet and calves up on a chair or a couch for a little inversion. Get your lower body comfortable. And then get your upper body comfortable. Arms at your side, palms up. Little tuck of the chin to lengthen the back of the neck. And then relax the neck, the jaw, the shoulders. We're going to just tune into our breath here for this final relaxation. Inhale, feel your belly rise. Exhale, feel the belly fall. Good. So we worked on hips and core today. We worked on our upper back a little bit too. So in our final relaxation, it's just time to let everything relax. The muscle memory starts to take place right now. So the next time you practice yoga, you build on that. Your brain-body connection taps into that muscle memory. And we also just let everything relax because we stretched and we strengthened today. So we just want to let the muscles, the joints relax. We want to let our energy body relax, right? So all the breathing that we do in yoga is so good for our nervous system. We breathe all day long, but we don't usually think about the breath like we do in a yoga class. Make any little adjustments to get a little bit more comfortable. Scan the body. If there's any place where you're holding some tension, make a little adjustment or just acknowledge it. Sometimes once we just go, oh, I'm just holding tension in my jaw, then it relaxes. Or, oh, it's holding tension in the glutes. Sometimes just once we become aware of tightness or tension, we can just let it go on its own. The eyes relax. And with the eyes closed and the eyes relaxed, I invite you to look through the eyelids and just see If you see any colors, shapes, swirls, figures, just looking out through the eyelids. See whatever shade of light or dark there is. Keep breathing as you look through the closed eyelids gently and see the life that you're creating. What do you want more of? Focus on that and put it out into the universe and be open for opportunities, people, things, situations to come your way to bring that vision to life. See yourself happy, healthy, strong, flexible, worthy, whole, loving, and lovable. And see yourself as just pure love, just wrapped in this human form. And staying here as long as you have time for. But if you're ready to come out with me, take a nice inhale and a nice exhale. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Good. Gently bending the knees if they're not already, and rolling over onto one side. Take a couple breaths on your side, making that transition from your back to your side. And then nice and slow, use your strong arms to help you all the way up to sitting. So sit tall. I like to sit on a yoga block. Sit comfortably for your legs. You can be cross-legged, kneeling, legs stretched out in front of you. You could even sit on a chair or a couch. But we want the spine long. So tailbone moves back a little bit, heart lifts a little, belly pulls in and up a little, shoulders stack over the hips. Feel grounded down through your seat and grow tall up all the way through the crown of the head. Feel your breath, let it come into the low belly. Let's bring the palms together, thumbs at the heart. Feel right palm, left palm meeting here, heart center. And this ends our class today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. You'll get a notification whenever I post a new video. Pass this along, share it with someone you think might like it. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. That helps YouTube recommend my videos to other people. And leave a comment if you have any comments about it. And until I see you again, bye-bye.